You know, it really does.
Saying on paper it does work. I'm not saying it's good. On paper it does work,
You know what I'm saying?
or at least makes sense.
It makes way more sense. At least on paper, it does. Like
Yeah, I'm not a commie. I hate everybody.
when I when I get through the ASVABs itself, when I go to MEPS and come back and I get my scores within the same week, you know what I'm saying? And I get to see what jobs I qualify for, I
Yeah.
will explain how I feel about the situation a little bit more at that point in time. That should be around the middle of next month.
Hmm.
And I personally, because if you think about it, the way they describe the ASVAB is basically the SATs.
Yeah, the military SAT. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Hmm.
instead of you going to college and then getting a job, they said, "All right, we're gonna put you in our version of college for this job and see how you do." Bruh, I fail to see where that's a stupid fucking idea. You know, like
I feel like it doesn't really. I mean, like it matters if it's like a smart idea or not, but like it could just not like like not everyone can agree with it, or like or would it really agree with it or some shit like that.
and yeah, there's definitely some people in situations where they're like, I know I'm smarter than that and this on the job, but that's what you scored. And like, if you didn't take it serious, that's one thing. But you're also taking a test to determine what jobs you might be able to qualify for in the future. Why wouldn't you take it serious? You know what I'm saying? So like, as mad as you can be with them and us, you also have to be with yourself too. And the military allows you to retake the ASVAB 3 times. So you could have a total of 4 scores. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, they're not like the SATs where it's like, well, use your highest score. That's not how that works. You use your most recent score. So if I got an 85 on it the first time and then I'm like, nah, I want a 90 and I try to do it again and I end up with a 62, I can only qualify with the 62 and down because that was my most recent score. That to that point in time, that's where my headspace is. That's what I qualify for. That's what my personality is. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I wasn't saying necessarily like agree with the test or that, but like I mean, like since there's many options like to besides going like the military route to achieve like what you truly want and shit like that. That's what I was leaning towards.
Hmm. Yes.
Like it's like the fact that you found like something that gave you this much fire in your ass to fucking just make you just like really be like committed to it, and it's like and are able to see like further like into your vision of what you're able to accomplish and do, and then and like the further you get into it, the further you'll be able to see, oh, and shit like that, you know.
Yeah, man. And like, for one, I never saw myself joining the military, but like joining up with the Air Force, I am so excited, man. And like, I'm not even doing Air Force active. You know, I'm doing Air National Guard, Kansas Air National Guard, I should say. So that's a little bit more specific. But I haven't felt like I'm gonna have support, fun, livelihood, and brotherhood like this in so long. You know what I'm saying? And like the best part
Mhm.
about it for me is the fact that everyone's always told me to go and get my education. Everyone's always told me I'm so smart, you know, I can be an accountant. I do accounting already. And like I personally I like accounting. I like doing what I do. You know, it's not bad money, but at the same time I for like the last 5, 6 years I've dreamt of being a pilot and flight school is not cheap, bro. So
Have
being
you
able
played any flight simulators?
flight simulators, I've used one and I've actually been on a flight one time in the cockpit where once we were up in the sky, they were like, all right, you're up and took control for about 30 minutes up in the skies. But
Fire.
now being able to actually see myself doing this day in, day out, you know, maintenance myself, regulation myself, understand air traffic control, air comms, and, just really broaden my skill set even more while also feeling like I'm making a difference, not just in myself, but in my community locally. Because while being in the guard, I get to be part time, so I can still be that accountant. I could still be that business owner in the chamber of commerce over here, and I could also have a sense of purpose when I get my drill and my deployments as well. You know what I mean? Not to
Mhm.
mention I can learn a new skill along the way, and as I finish flight school and rise through the ranks, because you can't just be an airman or airman first class and be a pilot in the Air Force. Like I wish that was the case, but it's not true. You know what I mean? You can't just walk in and say, "All right, put me in, coach." Like you do have to put some time in. You do have to rise through the ranks a little bit, which means you will probably experience a little bit of that bureaucracy and like political activity within a job or
A little
office.
bit,
You know what I'm saying?
a little bit. That's fucking peak. That's peak all that.
He said it's peak all of that. But yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, when it comes to the bureaucracy of it, you're gonna find out when it comes to ranking up, and like I can already tell you just off the top of my head, in order to achieve certain ranks and like really make that difference in your career, you will have to show that you're willing to accept the responsibility before you accept the responsibility. You will have to show commitment to the job. Depending on what rank you want to rise up to, you might have to go for a schooling, a conditioning with the military and pass that in order to even qualify for the rank up. And even if that is completed, that might not be the only prerequisite to rank up to their desired rank.
Yeah.
So like for example, I want to rise from E5 to OO in the Air Force. So basically I want to go from a staff sergeant to a second lieutenant. And that's awesome because there's technically
How many pieces? How many like spots in between those two positions?
how many spots are in between those.
Like how many ranks? Sorry, how many ranks?
So E5, E6, E7, E8, E9. Is there an E10? There might be up to E10, 11, and then there's OO. So anywhere from 5 to 7. Anywhere from 5 to 7 ranks in the middle. But the cool thing is if you have the right AFSC, like if you have the right job title
Yeah.
and you're applying for one that's open and you qualify for, you might actually be able to skip ranks just to be able to get the position. You get what I'm saying? So like
Yeah, yeah. Especially, it all depends how you adapt to the whole like everything and shit like that, and how well you like excel. If you
yeah.
fucking if you knock that shit, if you knock out like 2 year like 6 months of work in 2 months, they're gonna be like, excuse? Keep an eye on this motherfucker for a couple more months, and then you're gonna do it twice more, and then they're gonna start questioning shit.
Well, yes and no. So like that
I,
stuff actually
I
helps
probably
them.
exaggerated, but like,
Yeah, a little bit, but you're on the right path for sure because they look at all that in order to help rank up because let- let's be realistic, you are in the military at this point. When you rank up, you're probably going to be able to give orders to people that are underneath you, whether or not you're leading a whole battalion, squad, platoon, different story based off of your different ranks. However, based off of different missions or maybe operations or even joint forces, whoever is the highest rank might be the commanding officer of that squad. You get what I'm saying? So, all of that does come into play because they want to see that number one, you're a team player, and number two, you're thinking ahead, and number three, that you're covering all of the tracks. You feel me? But
yeah,
number four, they also want to see that you have the drive and the discipline to sit where you're at for a little while and help them improve. Like they also want to see that you have the leadership qualities before you even get to that next point. You know what I'm saying? So like there's two different things that are helpful in determining for the requirements, and they're defined as like TIS and TIG. So basically, TIS stands for time in service, which is your overall time in the military itself. And then there's TIG, which is time in grade. How long have you been in that rank? You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
And then there's GI Joe.
so like let's say I want to go from E3, which is airman first class, to E5, which I believe is a staff sergeant. I think he's a sergeant. I think E5 is the lowest level sergeant you could be. So
Okay.
if you wanted to go from first class airman to a sergeant, you could essentially skip over E4 entirely by not ranking up to E4 and keeping your time and grade at E3. Because if you think about it, TIS, time in service, let's say in order to be a chief, you need 10 years of service at least. Okay,
Hmm.
great. Then they say you need another 6 years in grade. So let's say you spent your first 3 years at one job, one career, you rose up to about E4, E5, and you became a sergeant, right? And then from there, you decided you want to be a chief. You not only want to help out your one squad, but you want to look over the entire base. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
could do that. All you got to do is stay at that sergeant position and show the higher ups, like the captains, the lieutenants, that you have the ability to look over those other squads too. Like you understand their job, you understand the importance of it. You might not know how to do it, but you understand how to improve the efficiency of it. So you can just help them out here and there. So like the fact that you're remaining at a sergeant, your time in service is there overall because you're in the military. And then your time in grade at that position stays there too. You're building that. Because every time you re-rank, your time in grade resets to zero. You get what I'm saying? But your time in service keeps going up because that's how long you've been with the military.
Hit me in Call of Duty prestige terms.
I bet. All right, so you're with your party and you're coming back from the gulag, right? When you come back from the gulag, you have no streaks whatsoever, but your stats are there from the last time that you were there. You still have your kills, you still have your assists, you still
But you
have
get
your
your
deaths.
prestige, yeah, yeah.
So
But you
that's
go
your
back to
time in
square one.
service. That's your
Yeah,
time in service, right? But your streaks are gone. Your time in grade, your rank is reset when you came back from the gulag. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
So in the military, basically, I can't believe I just fucking did that. So I can't
I
believe.
mean, well, think of it because it's the fucking video. They programmed the mind of the children to go to war.
Yeah, but like that's also such a good way for me to that's the only way I know how to explain it that way for it to make sense cuz yeah. So like the way they see it in Call of Duty when you rank up is your prestige. And they increase your prestige in the game based off of how many types of kills you can do, how your skills improve over time, the way you can switch from handgun to assault rifle, sniper, shotgun, when you learn how to wall ride, when you learn how to do all this jetpack bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like when you learn all this stuff in combination and can do them while communicating with a team and being effective as a whole, the faster you can rank up in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. In real life, it's essentially the same thing, but if you try to rank up too frequently, you'll get stuck in one rank for a while. You get what I'm saying? Because the
Hmm.
higher ranks, the ones that pay better, the one that have more responsibilities, but probably less time on ground, if you get my drift, you'll end up needing more time in grade to show them you're capable of all those positions so that you can help handle those situations that other people are in when you're in that position to be in command of them. But if
Mm.
you're constantly putting yourself in the position to take orders, you're never truly in the position to sit there, understand how to give them yourself, and learn how to delegate while also being effective in field. It's super weird, but That's how it is. Because chiefs are not officers. And I thought that was the strangest thing ever, but that's how it is.
But
A
yeah,
chief,
they're chiefs.
right? Because in the police department and in the fire department, the chief is like the commissioner.
But
But
they're but wait, hold up. There's chief officers.
yes,
What the fuck?
in the police department and in the fire department, there's chiefs and there's chief officers.
Yeah.
So in the military, at least in the Air Force, we have chiefs, but they're enlisted. They're senior enlisted. You know how I'm saying, like, I'm going in as an E3 and I want to rise up to an OO or even an O5. You
James
hear the
James Bond style. You already know.
you get what I'm saying? You hear the
Yeah.
distinction between the E and the O? Everything on the E side is enlisted, which means you are not a commissioned officer. And like chiefs fall within enlisted. They're just senior enlisted because they're way higher on that ranking list. But if you wanted to go to like a lieutenant, like a second lieutenant is the lowest grade officer you can be, but you're an officer. As a matter of fact, according to federal law, a military officer is covered underneath the LEOSA Act, which means that if you're a lieutenant, a captain, a colonel, so on and so forth in the officer line in the military, you're allowed to carry your firearm in all 50 states concealed because you're technically a law enforcement officer.
Mm-hmm.
You're just not a local law enforcement officer, so you can't place people under arrest, but you're allowed to have your gun, even in federal buildings, because you're a federal
Word.
officer.
He's a
You get what I'm
motherfucking
saying?
chief. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
This motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm faded too, but I know. I'm just listening. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like in the military, you're a federal employee, and then if you're a federal officer, okay, well, why can't I carry federally in all 50 states? So they allow them to carry in all 50 states. That's how that works. But chiefs can't do that because they're senior enlisted. If they want to leave their base with their firearm, they have to have a concealed carry weapons license. And if they don't have one, they can't leave their state. I mean, their base with their gun. At least not on their person. They have to have it disassembled, unloaded, and put in a case that's locked while they're transporting it in their vehicle.
To another state or like their or whatever their desired location.
Whatever their desired location. But even then, you really can't take it out, load it up, and use it. I mean, technically, you have free will. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But if you do use it in that situation, military or not, you're going to jail, bro.
Mm.
Because that wasn't with the law. The law says you can carry depending on what your state says once you leave your base. So if you're in California or New York or Connecticut and you're just enlisted, if you don't have a concealed carry license for that state, you cannot have that gun once you leave that base. Like you can have it on your person, you can transport it in your car, but you can't load it up. You can't have it accessible, reachable. You know what I'm saying? It can't.
Yeah.
It can't be what it's purpose for to protect you. You get what I'm saying? But the
Mm-hmm.
reason for that is because a lot of times enlisted people don't necessarily rise to the officer ranks on purpose because they either like being in an office job or they're actually in the front lines where they don't care about rising through the ranks because they're in survival. You know what I'm saying? So then think about it. You get people that are not caring about rising through the ranks, worried about survival, but also have PTSD coming back from war. And all of a sudden you put them in the streets with civilians and they all have guns. The first motherfucker that pissed them off in the subway is going to die. So they made it illegal for them to have guns unless their state says they can. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can imagine a motherfucker getting PTSD. It's like they go to like some fucking Middle Eastern country and they see a babushka with like a little apple basket, but then in the apple basket is a bomb and they just blew up a whole fucking platoon.
I heard a story about a dude that fought in Nam, and he was a sniper.
Man.
Yeah, right? And his squad was basically their mission was to take out another squad, and specifically the sniper from the Vietnam squad. And the Vietnam sniper had taken out like 200 Americans, dude. Like
Mm.
that fucker was good. And the Americans nicknamed him Ghost because they couldn't find him for like ever. They would just see people drop, look around, and the nigga would be gone. Like,
Getting a multi-kill.
nowhere to be found. And he thought the same thing about the American sniper because the American sniper was dropping bodies left and right too. So the story has it that the American vet came back from the war after his friends had died, like right in front of him in the squad. And, you know, he went to therapy, he went to civilian life, and for years he was trying to figure out, you know, I just want to find this guy because, like, I just want a little bit of closure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my friends are gone. Life has passed. It's been like 10, 15 years. He said he got married, had kids and stuff, but he wanted closure on the situation. So, um, I remember thinking, all right, well, what if I could find this guy? Like, this is the story he's telling. And he started looking for the dude. And he spent like 10, 15, 20 years looking for the guy. And he even used to go to like the Vietnam War memorial services and stuff like that in Nam and here in America, just hoping that he would see the other sniper from the other side. And on the 27th year, he did. They met each other. And the American guy tells it that the dude from Nam approached him and asked him if the scar that he had was from the war. And he said yes. And then the dude from Nam was like, I did that. I was the sniper. And the American dude, he was like, in that moment, I reached for my firearm that just, it wasn't there. And like, and,
You motherfucker, you shot me.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And like, he reached for that and was like, oh shit. Because like, the PTSD came back and came over where it's like, fuck, this is the dude that took out like everyone, my friends and everything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And even though you know it's like almost 30 years later after the war, you're just like, it's bang, you're right back there. But then the two of them are like older and they're talking about it and they actually get into conversation where they're both calm and chill and they're apologizing for it. Turns out they were both like 18, 19 years old, just scared kids, you know what I'm saying, following orders. And what's going on? And he was saying how dude apologized for him. Like he apologized to him for taking out his friends, his best friend at the time that they actually went to grammar school with and ended up in the same squad, taken out right in front of him. And the dude from Nam apologized to him, was sincere as shit about it too. And he was like, bro, it gave him so much closure and like peace at heart. He was like, the PTSD is 100% still there. Like that doesn't just disappear, but like the way he felt like he didn't have to look over his shoulder for ghosts anymore. This like nameless, faceless sniper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all of that being at ease, and the fact that the two of them just felt the same way. We were just scared kids following orders, man. Like I didn't want you to get to me first, but you landed a hit, and I never saw you at all. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
base Call of Duty fucking like knowledge. Like just run to the other side, shoot, don't die.
yeah, right. Yeah, man. So I don't know. I thought that story was dope as hell when I heard it. And it stuck with me for a
That
while.
sounds that's not, like that's deep as fuck. Cause like the fact that the fact that he had he was like, wait, that's my signature right there. I
Yeah,
know exactly. He knew the bullet part, the bullet size, the wound exactly, and shit like that. And ooh, this, imagine you're grabbing for the gun, drops the cane.
bro, for real, huh? Like, bro, I would have probably did the same shit. Phantom draw, like, ah, fuck. I would have been like so fucking pissed because it's like,
I got that.
you bitch ass nigga, I've been looking for you for damn near 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, but hey, man, I gotta cut this episode a little bit short because I got Brody outside wanting to pick me up. I'm gonna have a little talky talk with bro and, you know, start